We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
All of your internet belong to us now.
Stamp your mom.
And we're live, and Boop gets to do another introduction tonight.
Oh, fabulous. Well, welcome to... Yeah. That's right. Yes,
Live.
welcome. Yeah.
From downtown
We're
Burbank
here.
Studios.
We're here. Live and... alive. Alive is what I meant.
He's
But,
getting better.
but
He's
here
really
we are.
He's really. It looks so much more comfortable now than it used to.
Yeah, I know, right? but welcome to Destiny Unfiltered. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Boop Cannon. We got JD Turkleton up there at the top up there with Josh, and we got Ryan on our PC, my man. So with the headsets and the green screen, he's famous.
Yeah.
He's easy to cut out. So and we have Therian, everybody. Welcome to the show. Really excited to have you. I hope you're as excited as I am.
I'm thrilled. I didn't sleep last night.
I did not
you know?
about
He did.
No Shade November, so
He didn't sleep, but he didn't remember he was supposed to be here either, so what's that tell you?
So he did say what kept him up.
Busy day.
The conversation wasn't what kept him up. That's the whole conversation. But
Tragic X is in the chat. I like that guy. He's a good guy.
well, we're really excited to have you, my man. Again, another gentleman I've known for a really long time. But tell the community a little bit about you and how you got to be right where you are in front of us.
Okay, yeah.
Not my car.
So, Boop drove by his house banging a trash can till he came out and said, "Fine, I'll fucking do it."
That's what I did, essentially.
Whatever.
It's no joke.
My name is John. I go by Therian Art Online. I'm a 41-year-old.
Oh, you're young.
Boring person in general. I draw a lot. I always have. Started drawing Destiny stuff when Destiny 1 came out. I really enjoy the aesthetic, the mishmash of fantasy and space magic and post-apocalyptic technology and all that jazz. It really speaks to me. From there, I managed to get to go to the Destiny 2 reveal event, which was super cool. Went to the last in-person Guardian Con, where I sold some artwork, and that was fantastic. Met a lot of cool people there. Got to meet Boop in person for the first time there. We had been talking online for a while.
Are you from that area, or I don't know where you're located?
I am located off of just to the west of New Orleans,
Okay.
South Louisiana.
Okay, fair enough.
So I can throw a rock and hit a swamp kind of thing from where I'm at. So it was a 10-hour drive, maybe a little bit more, to get to Orlando or Tampa, wherever it was.
Orlando would have been the last one.
Yeah, it was great. We had a good time. Looking forward to when they can do it again, honestly. So our free time right now, every November November, I do a bunch of free portraits as a practice thing and as my way of giving back to the community. And that's what I'm in the middle of right now.
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome thing that you do to give back to the community. I mean, what made you decide to start doing that?
No, nothing specific. Just I like doing portraits. People have been super kind to me in the community, really accepting of me, and I have this. If I have you get the ability to help people, like you should in general, right? And my abilities allow me to give people something that they would not otherwise have ever gotten. Most people aren't going to go out and just go, I want to drop $50 to $200 on a portrait, random sketch, or whatever it is. They just don't do it. So this way they can have something to keep with them at all times, forever, and it's something unique, it's something different. I just think it's a worthwhile thing to do. Yeah, there's yours.
So,
There's mine right there. We glow forged it, burned it into existence. It's great.
Before my two co-hosts that actually know how to do art start taking over the show and asking a lot of questions, I got a couple of minor things I want to get out of the way. Did this start because of No Nut November? You were just like pent up and you were like, I got to draw something because I can't. I got a lot of energy. You don't believe in that?
It doesn't make you smarter, like George Costanza.
Halfway through day one.
So, no, serious question though. Like, when and how did you like realize that art was something that you were good at and could do and do as a, I'm assuming a hobby, not as a full-time job, but you know, it's something you do on the side?
Yeah, so I was a kid. I mean, I was in all the skilled programs, the talented programs, whatever you want to call it, through school. I was drawing before I was running, kind of thing. My parents were always real supportive of me. I ended up going to college for art, for fine art. In college, I kind of got disillusioned, though, and I realized I spent 4 years in fine art learning how to draw, paint, and sculpt, and do ceramics and stuff like that. And I realized I could have just, like, gotten a degree in something real, I guess you'd say, and still practiced on the side and got the exact same thing out of it, right? So it kind of upset me that I spent 4 years doing this, and they didn't teach me anything. They just basically put you in a room and said, "Here, draw for 4 hours. You'll get better." And that's really what it was.
And I always wondered, how do you grade art? It's art. How do you put a grade on it? Like, sorry, this is a C.
It's so full of BS. So my original intent was to be a teacher, to teach art, because I'm a very pragmatic person, a very logical person. And so I was going to go and learn how to deconstruct the art process, which I already did, but then how to teach new kids, right? But I'm in there with like these new age hippies, and I'll give you an example. We had this project, this class project, where you had to go and draw from nature, create an art piece from nature, right? A series of things. So this one girl who was really cool, her project, she went out around the area and found roadkill and painted it, and she had a series of these paintings, and that's fine because it was pulled.
Hold on, because I'm an idiot. Did she pick up the roadkill, paint it, and hang it up, or did she go out, find it, and then like
I was envisioning the same thing.
I'm sitting here thinking of like a raccoon and a deer hung that's been painted on.
I mean, a turtle shell. You could
Literally sat on the side of the road and painted it, even as cars went by. So she was dedicated to it.
Okay.
Nothing but respect for her. I did like melting ice in like cups because I always drank, Cokes or whatever it was at lunch. And then I would take it and I would draw the melting ice because it was constantly changing, it was evolving, it was an interesting project. This one dude shows up, and he's got blocks of wood with nails driven into it and yarn laced between the nails. And he calls it the path of the dragonfly. And I'm like, oh, that's neat. Did you literally follow around a dragonfly and drew, And he goes, oh, no, I just, figured it looks like what they would do. So he did nothing. Literally just threw a bunch of nails into something and then threw yarn between. The teacher was like, yeah, that's a pretty good story, though. Here's an A. And I was like, this is...
Nice.
Yeah. So I took that and ran with it. So one of my projects was to take this ceramic skull and turn it into an art project. And I forgot about this until about the night before. So I quickly covered it in a black box that I constructed out of cardboard and stuff. And then I wrote this long list of things that I added to the ceramic skull. And I put on there, I taped it shut and said, you can't open it until 2020. And my teacher loved that. He loved the story that I gave, that I had done all this, but it wasn't allowed to be open. He thought it was the greatest thing ever. And that's when I realized, this is ridiculous. This isn't, I'm not learning art. I'm just
Sure.
Yeah.
You
Learning
sh-
to work it.
I'm
You
just learning how
Schrod-
to make up great stories, so it's actually a literature class.
yeah,
Yeah.
you Schrodinger your art.
yeah.
If y'all know
Is there a skull or not?
yeah.
I did write an apology on the skull, so when he did open it, he would get like an apology letter, but it was...
I'm sorry, I did not do this.
Did you ever follow up to see if he opened it?
I have no idea now. I have no interest in going backwards. So I didn't really feel like doing art. So when I got out, I got a job in emergency management and stopped doing art for more than a decade.
Oh, wow.
I was 30-something before I started drawing again.
Before you go too far, emergency management, the Webster's Dictionary definition.
So my job is I protect the local populace from natural disasters, industrial disasters, and terrorist events through mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery for these events.
Fair enough.
You just read that. That looked like you just read
No,
that.
I
That
just.
was nice.
I mean, he's not running into Walmart and having to become the emergency manager. So, got it.
No.
So, quick, so art-related question:
Yeah.
right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. Right-handed.
All right.
Yep.
Can you do both? Can you do both?
Not very well. When I
No.
draw left-handed, it looks like someone who doesn't know how to draw is trying real hard.
He had a seizure. Yeah.
All right.
It's
so-
like, yeah, my right hand, I can draw all sorts of stuff. Left hand doesn't even know how to hold that same pencil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
So, emergency management, 10-year job.
Yeah, so during that 10 years, I wrote books. I wrote about 12 novels, focused on all kinds of different things, role-playing game style things, fantasy stuff, urban fantasy, wrote a romantic comedy, this kind of things like that. But something to do. When Destiny came out, I started drawing again. So literally, the aesthetic of Destiny was what triggered me to start drawing more. I had doodled in between, like when I played Dungeons and Dragons or something, I might draw characters or something like that, but I never put any effort in. It wasn't until Destiny came out that I really started working
So
again.
what was it about Destiny in particular over any other game like Mass Effect, Halo, anything like that?
No, it's purely the aesthetic. It was a mishmash of the futuristic armor and the post-apocalyptic feel to it, and the swords mixed in with that space magic, and they just had a fantastic mishmash of styles that I really enjoy.
Is that what drew you to the game, or is there a different story on how you
Yep.
got to the game?
No, I legit had no knowledge about the game, so it's all like concept art, ahead of time. I watched the same thing everybody else did, that opening thing where the guy got Thunderlord, in the Cosmodrome and all that stuff, that first live trailer. And I was like, well, this is pretty interesting. I'll give it a try. When I started playing the game, the gameplay is spot on. The tactile feel of the game and shooting the guns and all that stuff. That's still what brings me back today. Is the act of playing the game feels right. I just played the new Halo, and it feels like Halo. And even though Halo is combat evolved, I've evolved beyond Halo. Like I don't enjoy the slow nature of Halo as compared to the quicker, more fluid nature of Destiny.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know what made me pick up Destiny? Hadn't seen anything on it. Hadn't heard anything on it. Walked into GameStop, saw one of their little cardboard stand-up posters with the Sparrow on there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, you get to fucking drive that around? Yeah, I'm on board. It's like a
dude.
futuristic motorcycle. The
The
Sparrow.
very first time I drove that Sparrow, all I could think of was Return of the Jedi.
Right?
I mean, it literally, it was like when I was flying on Venus on that thing. I was like, oh, this feels so cool. I want more.
So what artist inspired you? who are the ones you look up to the most?
So I'm terrible at names.
Or your
but I'll give you
inspirations.
styles. So comics. I grew up reading comics. I'm a
Mhm.
comic book guy. I'm a character illustrator. I'm terrible with backgrounds. I don't like drawing architecture. It is mind-numbingly boring. I don't mind inking it. Like if someone else draws it, I'll happily ink stuff. But coming up with it on my own, I get bored with it. I'm really not a huge animal guy either. Yeah. But I'm a character guy. I want to draw the superheroes. I want to draw the knights and the warriors and stuff like that. So growing up, I mean, it's still Jim Lee is ridiculous, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You ever seen how Jim
He's
Lee
one of
draws?
my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like stupid good. Todd McFarlane
Yep.
was a big impact, the Spawn stuff and everything growing up. So I was born in 1980, so if you look in the 90s is pretty much where the real influence was. A bunch of unknown artists that I couldn't tell you.
Funny you say that though. That's when I got into comics too. Huge
Yeah, I
in
mean,
the '90s.
yeah, absolutely. So
I loved
and then outside of that, I still the old masters. If you look at Da Vinci stuff, Michelangelo stuff, so there's something to be said about how they captured the human form. And I'll never be even remotely close to them, but I have a lot of respect for them, and I have a tendency to over amplify the light and dark in my pieces, which I feel like is like Caravaggio's stuff from back in the day, but I just have a tendency to overdo it, So my biggest influence, though, is going to be definitely the comic book style work of those guys.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was also a big. You remember Will? I don't know how to say his name. Portasio. He was also one of the ones that drew X-Men, and then everybody that went over to Image Comics. It was at that time too, like Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, Mark Silvestri.
People all crazy.
Oh, he was he was really cattywampus. But then there was Greg Capullo, who he still draws a lot today.
Yeah,
Capullo,
Greg.
Like my current favorite is Capullo. Like that's
Yeah.
If I could draw like anybody, I'd want to be like Greg Capullo. Like he's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and he's a cool dude too. I
Yeah,
mean,
it seems like
he's I was like a big fan, another fan of similar artists like Travis Charest. He was he drew very realistic like, but he drew DC for a while. But it's interesting that a lot of those Marvel guys went over to Image and then went over to DC now. So now they're running that show.
There's a lot of businesses that are culture shifts and stuff like that.
Yep.
Marvel went through ups and downs. I'm sure DC did the same thing, and just like all the video game companies are the same way, right? Some of the guys that were the heyday of, like say Bungie started a new one, and so forth and so on. It's gonna move. People are gonna want something a little bit different than what they've been doing.
What was your video game journey though, growing up?
So we weren't. So my mom was a middle school teacher, and my dad cut grass and stuff for a living. We didn't have a lot, and looking back now, I realize just how little money we had growing up. Right. So we got a Nintendo Entertainment System when I was 9, something like that, and started with that. The traditional Super Mario Brothers, baseball, double dribble.
Double dribble.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah.
No, man, the best would be
Contra,
Tecmo
Tecmo Bowl,
Tecmo Bowl, man.
Warriors. I don't know if you remember that one, but and I had my brother is 18 months younger than me, so we were like best friends growing up. We did everything together, played sports together, played video games and stuff. So anything with a co-op then is where I was. I wasn't. We were. My dad was really athletic and a coach and all this stuff too. And so we were born and bred with this idea of sportsman-like conduct at all times. The people that you're playing against are not your enemy, especially when you're a child. They are your friends that you go to school with, and you'll respect them. And if you beat them, you'll tell them good game and you'll help them up. If they score a shot against you or a goal, you tell them that was a good shot. Really respectful type stuff, right? So cooperative stuff was a key for me. So any video game that we could play together was very big at our house. Like I said, Contra, Ikari Warriors. There was Pegasus Wings, I believe, was one we could shoot, fly together and stuff like that. Played a lot of cooperative stuff.
Nice. There's some good stuff back then.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. It's hard to bring back that kind of magic.
You're talking about sportsmanship, though, and I'm thinking, God, you were playing. Playing video games is not where you want to be.
Well, I kind of feel bad about that. So, like, I'm coaching now, right? I have a 10-year-old and 11-year-old sons that are the same age as that separated me and my brother. And I'm surrounded by people that have a very acidic view of how to play sports, and it's really frustrating. So when I'm coaching, I make sure that I'm stepping up to coach, because even though I'd rather just not have to bother with it, I'd rather my kids be raised with the more positive outlook on how to do things, rather than stomp the enemy to death kind of thing.
No teabagging out on the field. No teabagging out on the field. Yeah.
It's not good. You don't drop your pants and start doing that.
You hand the ball to the referee. You don't spike it into the ground, kind of thing.
It's a lot. Yeah, I mean, we play soccer mostly right now. My kids are more in that line, but don't rub it in their face when you score on them. Act like you've been there before. Something my dad used to say. When you score goal, you don't like do a dance and stuff, like act like it's the first time you've ever done this before. No, I scored, moving on, do it again, that kind of
So,
yeah.
Can we rewind a little bit? You glossed over something that I found interesting that isn't art related.
Okay.
You said you wrote books.
Yeah.
You wanna dive into a little bit more, like inspirations.
Movie deal?
Yeah, like
movie deal?
I didn't publish anything.
Okay.
I just wrote them. I enjoy the act of creation. I'm a creator. If I'm not drawing, I'm doing something to make things. I've made
I'm getting rid of George McFly. It's like, I don't know. They're my stories. What if people don't like them? I just don't know if I can handle that kind of rejection.
And I completely agree with Tragic X. J. Scott Campbell is a fantastic artist. Even though all of his women kind of look the same, he's a freaking great artist.
Oh man, the one that hurts my soul is Michael Turner. The fact he's gone, that dude was amazing.
Yeah, he passed. That was really strange to hear.
I'm sorry. So books. I have to create, and I read. I not anymore as much. I'm kind of lazy these days, but I used to read like a fiend. I read hundreds of books. Right?
You have two kids that are preteen. You're coaching. I mean, it's not a real sport, but it's a sport, soccer, and you're calling yourself lazy.
Yeah, well.
And he's drawing.
Yeah, drawing, and playing Destiny, which is a life suck.
You kind of pick your what you're going to use your time for. So in the evening, if I get a chance to play a video game, I'll do that. But I probably should be bettering myself by reading more, at least, or maybe doing audiobooks in the car or something. I don't know. But my wife's real good about that.
Okay.
But no, so we grew up playing role-playing games, Star Wars, Dungeons and Dragons, all that kind of stuff. And I used to make games all the time too. I got really into game development as far as tabletop and role-playing games and board games and stuff like that. So I would make all these different games, and this one game that we played, that we created, was an urban fantasy one about a bunch of college kids that get embroiled in a overarching conspiracy. There's a serial killer on campus, and they try and solve that thing, and it leads to occult discoveries and eventually superpowers and so forth and so on. It kind of goes crazy. So I wrote a 7-book series on that.
Like Scooby-Doo.
You could have wrote for Supernatural.
Yeah.
Or you could have wrote something good.
Cross between Scooby-Doo and Supernatural. I love it.
I just didn't. I've never the aspect of publishing bores me. The work that goes into trying to find something and do all that. I'd rather just create. I'd rather just spin it up. So I write. I wrote kind of like a romantic comedy / Ocean's 11 thing called Queen's Gambit, back before Queen's Gambit was an actual show, about a man who loses everything one day and decides to basically go through a heist to get everything back. I wrote for National Novel Writing Month, which is also November. In a 30-day period, I wrote a 100-something thousand word novel on a prototypical fantasy yarn about a golden child that has to be born and protected, and people that go out to save that person. I've written books that are kind of steampunk / sci-fi-ish.
So you grew up in, I mean, we're all the same age here, and all of us,
Right.
you know.
Yeah,
So,
you're the youngest of
obviously-
us.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you should be well familiar with the trend that was back when we were kids or in high school, middle school, high school, the choose your own adventure.
Oh,
You
yeah.
Yes.
You ever wrote one of those?
Those
are
are
like
my
bad.
favorite.
You should.
And Mad Libs. Don't forget about Mad Libs.
So
Like-
when the kids came, drawing became easier than writing. Sitting down to buckle down to write requires a little bit more effort because you got to remember where you were and where you're going. Whereas drawing is just blah, 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 right? So for the last decade, it's been a lot easier to draw than it has been to write. But I fully intended to write a book about my kids and my nephews and nieces and do their own like young adult series. I really wanted to. And I have this cool idea in my mind, but I can't. I don't have the time and effort
Like
to put it together.
write a normal book about most of them, but just take one of them and do a Tarantino style.
On the topic of remembering though what you were writing about, my mom was an author her whole life, and she used to say she couldn't wait till she got to the point where she had Alzheimer's, and then could write that book
Oh, yeah, that'd be interesting.
to see what it would be like coming from the mind of an Alzheimer's patient.
Yeah,
So
just write chapter 1 over and over and over again.
I mean, or have no idea what even format. Like, is it sci-fi? Is it fantasy? Is it?
I mean,
you know,
it would be like watching 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, that movie.
Inception.
There you go.
So
Yeah, I'm happy with what I created. I mean, they're really good, in my opinion, but they're not professionally edited because, again, I had no interest in moving forward with that thing. If I could ever find an agent that really wanted to pick me up and run with it, it's awesome. But
And
the amount of effort that would require, I'm not willing to put in right now.
So, has anybody ever seen him?
Oh yeah, my family, my wife, I've printed them. I just didn't get them published. There's I did the work required to format them correctly and do an on-demand printing. So created my own book covers and all that jazz. But I never, I have them on my shelf here, at my house. And I actually have them at work. I printed them all out, a set, just to stick them on my desk at work.
Fair enough. So, okay.
interesting. I like it. Man of many talents.
So I asked that question just to see, because you're talking about, you have the kids and you have all these other things going on now. Do you have a desire to get back, or do you have if you're not to get to writing, is there another artistic endeavor out there that you're looking forward to maybe starting when you have some time?
I thought about that. I do a very minor amount of woodworking, which basically has me over engineering things.
Putting a bunch of nails in a piece of wood and tying some yarn between it? Got it.
Right. No, but like for instance, my wife, she bought a nativity scene for the front yard for Christmas, and these things are 3 feet tall. Like she bought like a 3 foot tall Joseph.
Does she hate you?
I don't know. And so she's like, nativity. So I'm like, well, we do have a bunch of fence boards and posts because our hurricane just came through and blew everything over, right? So we have all this scrap stuff. So I built a nativity set.
Did your neighbors used to have it?
Yeah, well, we used to have we had a trampoline. I have no idea. So definitely wasn't the hurricane that flew off with it. That sure.
Right.
Yeah, so I built this really rudimentary like barn situation, manger, and you look at it and you're an actual woodworker, you'd be like, oh my god, this is terrible. So many screws all over the place, and it's just kind of lean in, My wife's like, it looks great, thank you.
Just
So-
don't get too close. You get
So-
scratched by a nail.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much our wives lie to us because they actually like us.
Yeah.
Interesting. Your wife likes you.
It's very strange.
So, all
But
right.
no big project. I've always been interested in video game design, but I feel like I missed the boat on that just because of my generation. I don't know if anybody else feels like that. But like
Yeah.
when I went to college, if they had that Full Sail University stuff, and when I was going to, it'd be different. I'd be in a different place. I just and I'm in the south of Louisiana. I met my wife in high school. If I had to choose between going to Seattle and doing something like that or being with her, I'm going to be with her. So I don't
Yeah.
regret the choices I
Yeah,
made.
but the-
Is she watching? Is she watching right now? That's
No,
awesome.
she's probably.
Yeah.
She's probably ever watching Firing Range too.
Yeah, that's.
No, her,
That's pretty
her,
funny.
we are polar opposites as far as hobbies and stuff. Like she
Mhm.
could give a crap less about video games. No interest.
Yeah.
That's
She
true.
was
I
there
feel
to
that-
support me at the
I feel
art-
those-
I mean, Sean met her. She was there to support me at the art thing. She's like, "Yay, you're finally doing something with
She
yourself."
was the one. Well, I remember you introduced. She was the one who was taking the money.
Yeah, right.
That's the one. She was
I
the
mean-
one who was taking the.
You know damn well she was going to end up with it no matter what. So
Yeah.
might as well
She
just
was
give
like,
it to
"This
her.
is gonna make us money today."
So, with the world working remotely and the way people kind of backdoor into these jobs now, like video game companies are not looking for you need a degree, but have you ever thought about maybe just submitting some art through some different channels and seeing if maybe you could do some stuff like that for them?
So I've thought about it, and realistically, I think I have a good shot at getting in for something like that. I'm genuinely not sure. I am sure. I don't really want to change my life up right now. I'm happy with it.
Right.
I'm quite content. I have a good job with people that I respect and like. I don't mind going to work. I have a great life here.
What is that like?
So that's my point. I get
He's got some good RNG.
I love being able to interact with the community. I've gotten to interact with the people at Bungie sometimes.
Bungie.
Bungie, sorry.
Them bug-
Bungie, actually. That's why I say that. But I love being able to interact with them. I highly respect them. I'm just not sure I ever want to change stuff up right now. You know, in 10 years, when I'm retiring from this current job, if they're still doing stuff and I'm still into this, then maybe I'll submit and see if I can't work remotely for them or something, you know. But right now, life is good. I'm good.
That's pretty awesome. We got a happy guy.
Yeah,
I'm a very happy person.
I really want to know what that's like.
Wake up every day. He's just an excitable guy, you know. So we'll get back to your art a little bit. You know, now with what
Sure.
you do with the Destiny community, I know that you've turned all of your portraits into playing cards. Not playing
Yes.
cards, but like
Trading.
either trading cards. Yes. So I mean, we need to do this. We need to like package them up and then have like, use your Destiny community and put a little glitter on one of them and
Yeah.
collectible Josh, right? We
Right.
could do I think we should do that.
Yeah, so like I said, every November I do the 100, right? And then I turn those into collectible cards too. And when I had a booth, when we could go in person, you would come by and you could just pick up your card. That was free. If I had drawn you, just come get your card. It's a one in a lifetime type situation. Feel free. Every piece of art I do, I also turn into collectible trading cards. But those I sell mostly by the set. I only make about 10 to 20 sets a year, and I sell them and they go out. So I think there's only 2 or 3 people that have every one that I've ever done. You know.
Was the Guardian Con that you went to in 19? Was it the only one you've been to, or have you been to more
Yes.
than that? Okay.
Yeah.
Was that the first year they did the Artist Alley?
No, they did that in
No.
18 at Tampa.
Because like
No, got ya.
Summerstone, Lady Summerstone, and them, they were in Cobb. They went, the prior one.
Yeah. I was at 18 in Tampa and was supposed to go to 19, but timing just didn't work out. And
Sure.
yeah, we did it in 18, and then I know they did it in
I think
19.
19 wasn't 19 right on 4th of July? Like,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's
We
why-
went on the 4th of July.
yeah,
That's-
a lot of people couldn't make it because of the time.
That's exactly the like. It was like, oh my god, really? 'Cause that's like our well, my day job is my wife and I. We have a farm, and that is our busy season. And every year we always have a big presenter that comes in 4th of July weekend, and it's like, my wife looked at me like, there is no fucking way you're going down there when we got this going on. So
Sure. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, it's a weird. Yeah, that was a weird thing, but it was a great time though.
It was.
Sure.
We had a really good time.
Yeah,
Really, really, really.
definitely would do it again.
best memory from there. From that
From
week,
starting?
yeah, from that weekend. What's your best memory, or the memory that you really can't remember because you were so fucked up?
No, I don't drink at all. I'm a very boring person in that regard.
Well, that's what happens when you're happy.
Yeah, right.
I thought it was really, really cool when Liz came by and interviewed me on the floor. Remember Shifty 5? Y'all. So she came by with, oh God, what's his name? The other guy. Anyway, Mitsu show guy. Anyway, they came by with, and they were doing like a live broadcast on Twitch and in the environment. And they just walked right up and they started interviewing me while I was at my table, and that was really fun. That was really cool. I thank them for that. That was really neat. I think some more people came by to get art after that, so it was pretty much a highlight.
Yeah,
It was special.
it wasn't you, Boop. Sorry.
No.
I mean, it's a close second.
Was not seeing Sean and then seeing him walk out from behind the back of a chair and realizing how short he was. I was like, oh my god.
It's the story of my life, I can tell you.
You got cock blocked by a chair, dude.
It's not the first time. When I was writing service, so you had this high chair, like it's a
He's
higher
not angry
chair.
yet.
Yeah, it was like a higher chair because it was a higher desk. And I talked to this lady on the phone, and when she came in, she's like, I'm looking for Sean. And I'm like, I'm over here. She goes, so tell me about your problem. So she did. I said, okay, let's go out and take a look at it. And so I swung the chair out, and then I hopped down because it was so high. Your feet don't touch. She goes, I didn't know you were going to be that short. And I like speechless for one of the first times in my life. And then all I see is that my boss was in the cubicle, like if it were right here, and all I see is her head come out and go.
Did you explain that you represent the Lollipop Guild?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
I'm
be
the
like,
I'm
I'm
the
like,
gatekeeper.
get
Yeah.
laid off of Lord of the Rings.
I was like, that's a story like you just don't live
No.
down. That's
Yeah, I didn't mention Sean because it really meeting everyone is a highlight. But
yeah, it was a great
it
time.
was
Yeah.
so nice to finally, to shake hands and hug people that you've been talking to online for so long. I mean, it was really neat. And my wife, like I said, isn't part of this world, right? She doesn't get it. But at the same time, when she was there, she was like super impressed that at these conventions, everyone was like on the same page. Everyone was cool.
Yeah,
right?
you don't run into dickheads in the convention like you
Yeah.
do. You're like you expect it to be all toxic. You just because of what you
No.
run into online.
You look over, and there's a big biker guy, right? And he's standing next to a girl that's 4'10" and dressed like a cat. And then next to them is like the super fit football player dude, right? And then an obese man, and then like a supermodel looking chick, and they're all having the same conversation about all the happy moments they have in gaming, and all these things. It's just super neat seeing that so many different people are brought together by the same thing. And she's like, "All right, I get it. I understand, and this is cool."
You show up there and you have in your mind that you're going to run into a bunch of 17-year-olds going, hey, dude, what's your KD?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
When we were there in 18, I was with the DCP crew, and they were the main booth right inside the main doors coming in. And they were the big attraction that year. Everybody wanted to meet those guys. And so you can imagine, there's 2,000 people in line to meet these guys, and they're there all day long just trying to get up to get their 30 seconds in an autograph. And
Right.
you're just waiting because you've seen this 100 times. You get a crowd that big, that diverse, and you're waiting for fists to fly, and it never happens in those conventions. So,
Polar Knights, sweet Jesus, it's like the evolution of beards.
Like going around in circles. That
well,
is great.
he's
I
young.
love it.
He can't grow one. So the guest,
Who, me?
yeah, you can't grow one. So Boop's got his full beard going, but it's got most of his color. Josh is redhead, so it
gets
just washes
grayer
out.
by the
Yeah,
second. I love it.
mine's
I
pretty much
actually
gone.
have a fairly significant amount of Native American in me, and when I grow one, it does not look good. It looks like
When
I
you get
should
the
go
patchy,
around
yeah.
schoolyards and stuff. It's not an attractive sight. Like if I try and grow a mustache and a goatee thing, that's all I can grow. I can't grow anything here. So it looks like I should just get a windowless van and start prowling neighborhoods. It's not a good look.
And
So I
Kind
just
of like,
stay-
kind of like the Joe Dirt's. Like, no, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Dear Tay.
Dear day. Yeah.
So, and to answer Vertigo Vixen's question, we are now into pedophile part of the conversation, not the art part of the conversation. He's going to get a van,
that's
get some
talking
candy.
about
Right.
Marion's next job.
Yeah.
But
So, are you all traditional, or do you do digital art as well?
Oh, digital now, man.
Are you?
So I did all traditional back in college and stuff, obviously, right? Photoshop was still something you pirated back then. Yeah.
Back then.
What?
Yeah, right?
My PC, I couldn't even run like Doom properly because it was
My refrigerator can run Doom.
Yeah, not in
Now.
1999. So I did all natural back then, and my favorite was pastels and charcoals. I love the ability to be able to smear stuff. Now it's all digital. For the first, I would say, 5 years or so of Destiny stuff, it was all Photoshop. I used a Wacom Intuos tablet to draw, and then after Guardian Con, the last one, 2019, I bought an iPad with Procreate, and I haven't looked back, man. That thing is fantastic. The portability and the ease of use, that program is flawless.
Well,
It's only getting better.
Remember when the digital art started making its turn from people doing pencils to digital? Like the huge argument that came up about digital art isn't real art.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I had college.
You remember that? Yeah. What?
Yeah.
How did that even start? Like what? Like how did this just one dickhead that just was just like, hey, it's not real art? I mean,
So
it
like
didn't
my
just.
professors were purists. They were hippies. They were from the '60s and stuff like that. And they were purists. They wanted to feel the texture of the work that they created. Like when they slap paint on canvas and it dries, it has texture. There's stuff that and realistically you cannot recreate that digitally. You can't.
Right.
On the flip side, there's things digitally that they cannot recreate traditionally.
yeah, but the same token is there's not a lot of guys. You might be one of them that drive around in a van with a mural on the side. That doesn't happen today. But we live in this world where your whole personality is digital. Everything that you do. So there's some kind of representation built in there. So
Yeah.
just
So these guys they were kind of old school. They didn't want to change. I guarantee you, if you go to school now, it's a completely different master coming from the professors.
they're teaching Procreate and all that bullshit. So
Exactly.
so what's your setup like now? You said you have the iPad.
Procreate, man.
That's it. Boop. I asked that.
Very rarely I'll switch over to Photoshop or something, but it's pretty much all iPad and then just upload to Drive and.
All right. I asked that question to then ask this question. Boop, what the fuck do you make our gifts out of? Because we got so much after Ferry said, I really love this get on Twitter that you put up yesterday. I probably got no bullshit 40 notifications of people retweeting and loving that.
Yeah, it's a really cool gift.
So
I mean, like I just started. Everything I've ever done has been on my iPhone. So I mean, it's like I use it's called Wordle, and and I use a number of apps that'll be able to cut out. Like I was able to cut out that painting that Farian made, and then I took Wordle and was able to use it to animate it, to to put effects on it, so it looks like it's actually living and breathing and moving, and then and then a couple other apps to add some of the touches as far as blending the videos and
I'll be honest, that's a skill set in and of itself. I mean, it really is. You're doing it.
I mean,
It's
I
really
think
cool.
boat about actually. I was telling my wife, I was like, I missed the boat about being a digital artist. I think, or at least a graphic designer.
Yeah. Even
Back,
even if you could be an
back in the
editor, or
day.
stitcher,
Yeah,
of media.
I mean, you know,
yeah. I mean, but I've been learning. I mean, literally, it's literally picking things up from people you watch, and it's like just a couple of artists that they're gift artists that
Yeah.
literally do some amazing things. They'll turn static art into something absolutely amazing, and it's like it's like something I've always messed with in a way. So I just have been able to explore it more, and now I have certain reason to.
Yeah.
But
So
it's a
I saw an interview with Joe Madureira once where he was talking about. Of course, he's moved into gaming companies now.
Yeah,
Right?
we missed him on the inspiration talk. He's another one. He's huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
he's in chat.
So, I'll
Yeah,
put
sure.
him in there. Yeah.
but no,
But
let's rephrase. He's not in chat. He has been called out in chat.
listen.
Right. Yeah.
There's no way
Right.
that fucker's listening to us.
No.
But no. So I watched an interview with him, and he was talking about what tips do you have for young aspiring artists and whatnot. He says if you're getting into it, if you're just learning, take your favorite your favorite artists.
Yeah.
Draw like them.
Copy them. Yep.
Yeah, copy. Don't trace, and very specific. Don't ever trace. It doesn't do you any bit of good. Copy. Get an amalgam of different. The ones that you like the most. Find your own style. But if you see a style you like, learn from it. You'll learn proportions.
Yeah.
You'll learn all that anatomy like you would in going to college without having to go to college.
Yeah.
You'll pick up everything you need to pick up just by learning those.
I want to answer Vixen stuff if that's all right.
Yes,
Go for it.
So what inspired me to start doing it? People like you, Vincent. Honestly. So I started drawing Destiny stuff, and for some reason, I got followers. People liked my artwork, and I thought that was really cool. That they were supportive of me, and I needed to, at some point in the years ago, I needed to shake things up because I was every so often you go mad. You try and draw the same thing over and over again, right? So I really wanted to get out of like an artist block. I was getting tired of drawing Titans and Hunters and Warlocks. So I had always had a comic-y, cartoony style that I used for separate things. So I decided to draw people at random. I just said, hey, first 100 people that respond, I'll draw you. And I got feedback. And that was really popular with people, and it gave them something that they would not have normally gotten. And I really enjoyed doing it. I enjoy the varying styles of portraits that people send me, these photos, and you get to read a lot about who people are via the photos that they decide to send you, right? So some people are very reserved and conservative with their photo, and some people are over the top and goofy. And as a hint to anybody else that ever wants to submit art or submit portraits to be drawn, the more fun the image you send, the better their art's going to be typically, because it's very boring drawing a very straight on smiley face. It's not a fun thing. But if you give me some kind of personality quirk, it's going to be a much better art piece. So that's
like
really,
dumbass. Dumbass gives
yeah,
you a
that
really
was a
good picture.
dumb choice by you.
Yeah,
honestly.
so because dumbass gives you great character drawing traits.
But no,
I mean,
so
at the end of the day, it
I've
still
been
looks
doing
like boobs. So.
I think I've been doing it 3 or 4 years, and no, about 3 years. So I've got almost 3 or 4, yeah, something like that. I got 300 or 400 of these done.
I'll tell you though, the greatest thing that comes out of it though are the reactions you get from the people that see the finished work. Because I mean, literally, I mean, I have to even think back just most recently. I believe it was Pixel Pixie. I think that's it. you drew her picture, and it was like it put her over the moon. It was like she was having a bad day.
Right.
When she got to see it, it was like her reaction was um, like extremely ecstatic and elated that
So-
at seeing that, and it's so cool.
It's so much more fun.
You'll,
Yeah.
you'll have to forgive me, but do you take commissions and stuff like normal? Like, okay.
Yeah.
So I asked that question.
Commission prices are high though.
I asked that. Oh, I'm not asking. I'm broke. I asked that question to ask you this question. Do you remember your first commission?
Oh, I was like a teenager.
Okay, let me rephrase.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first Destiny commission?
No.
Vixen, if you keep typing in chat, I'm just going to bring you into the fucking call.
Yeah. Do it.
So to be fair,
do it.
I say
Come
that
on
because
in.
we offered for her to come and sit in with us
Yeah,
this week.
absolutely.
So, but anyways, do you remember your first Destiny commission?
No, but I could probably pull it up real fast.
Oh.
I keep my invoices.
I'm only curious. I asked that just
All the way
because.
back from when you were 17, do you still have that invoice?
No, I asked the Destiny commission.
Oh, I was
Yes.
like, wait, hold up.
So,
I'd say that would be crazy.
Have you,
So,
while you're looking that up,
let's see.
have you ever done characters? Caricature. I can't
caricatures.
say, yeah,
Yeah,
caricature.
so, no, I don't remember the proper Destiny one. I really don't. Caricature-wise, though, yeah, when I was 16, my mom looked me into this convention for teachers, and they thought it would be a really cool thing to have caricatures done of all of the award winners this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, my son draws this stuff, he'll do it. And so they paid me like $10 a portrait, and all I used was an 8.5 by 11 piece of white paper and like a big pen to do caricatures of these people. And I had like 2 days to do like 30 of them. And so I had to quickly caricature a bunch of people. By and large, people were very happy with them. This one lady, though, was not happy with how wrinkly I made her. Now, she was 80 years old. Legit. She was old, had a lot of facial lines from a lifetime of laughing and smiling, and that's what happens, right? And she made me redraw her in the lobby where the convention was taking place 10 minutes before the show. I had to sit and draw on a coffee table.
I'd have charged her ass another $10.
I would have drawn her
Like she was 40 instead of 80. So yeah, that was one of my first real commission sets, and I was like, this ain't gonna work for me. I don't like this. Which is actually stuff like that is one of the reasons why I never tried to go into art as a living. I much prefer keeping it as a hobby, doing things that I enjoy, doing things that I want to do, being able to tell people I'm not drawing that. You're not going to make me. When they try and make me draw furry work or something like that, it's not my thing.
That's like whenever you see this. I've heard this from a lot of those, a lot of guys who used to do comics and then moved into other things. They didn't like the schedule you got put on.
Sure.
If you look at any cover art, they're fantastic. Inside, even if the same guy's drawing it, he's got to cut corners, do stuff with yeah, and all the pains. You can't put that same level of of their passion into every page, and keep to a schedule. You know.
And I agree with that completely. And that's another reason why you asked me about if I ever want to do the video game thing. There's something about that it loses its appeal when it becomes work as opposed to a passion or a hobby.
Yeah.
But
the reason I can do 100 portraits of people is because nobody's making me do 100 portraits of people.
But does it though if you enjoy it? Like really? I mean, my wife. I have a farm because my wife is very passionate about horses, and even on her worst day, I've never seen her upset that she has to go deal with horses. And, you know what I mean? Like even if it's like, oh my God, I have to get up and draw something. Like if that's really what you love to do, is it really oh my God, or is it fuck? I just really kind of want a day off, or I just want to de-stress, but I don't hate what I have to go do.
So, although I don't think the two are perfectly in line because on the worst day, I could easily take care of my dog, my wife, my kids, the things that I love. Even if I got a headache or a migraine, I could deal with that. Art and creating are hugely situationally dependent. It really depends on the mood that you're in, the circumstances, because there's some days, doesn't matter how much I put a stylus on this iPad, I will not create art on that day. And I've done that. I've sat there and just scribbled and tried to get past the block, and I've literally traced things in order to try and just trigger some sort of, emotion, and I can't. And that, maybe I'm scared of that. Maybe I'm scared if I take a job where I'm required to create and I suddenly can't, I would fail, maybe. But I do know that art is not something you can just turn on in that regard.
That's what I hear. I mean, of most creative type personalities. I mean, for anything that you would do, from writing and art, no matter what kind of crafting you do, that you will always get that that writer's block, or that whatever they would call it. This where it just feels stale, and
I guess that's why companies like Bungie they make the work environment as friendly as possible, right? So that people who run into that wall can get up, walk away, go play some Destiny, go get a drink, go whatever it is that's going to help alleviate that environment. But what I like right now is I can sit down, I can do a 30-second sketch of one character, or a 30-minute drawing of another, spend 3 hours on the next one, and no one can tell me that either one is better or worse than the other, because that's what I wanted to do, as opposed to what I'm required to do,
Yeah, and I know artists are their own worst critics.
No idea. Except for me, I just don't care.
Is that true? Why do I not believe that at all?
I do believe it. 100%.
I out and I move on. I know enough about myself. I will never be a perfectionist. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I don't pursue this stuff. Like Brian Monk is really good, really a fantastic artist and stuff like that. He's painstaking with his craft, right? It takes a long time, but when he creates it, man, it's freaking spot on. I do not have that patience. It might be that I have ADHD that hasn't been diagnosed, but I have to move on with things.
No, see, one thing, my daughter.
Well, ADHD would make you focus on it too much.
So, my daughter.
Now something shini's over there.
Yeah.
What? Where?
My daughter's got.
That'd be your forehead, Boop.
She gets into art as well.
Hey.
Yeah.
And one of the things she was like picking on her own work, and I said, and she's always like going on about stuff I've drawn and whatnot, and I said, you can look at my stuff and you think it's perfect, you love it,
right?
I can look at it and ask any artist this. They can look at anything that they show you and immediately pick out 1 to 2, 3 things they hated about it.
It's never done. You just have to ship it.
Yeah,
you're absolutely correct.
So.
Yep.
And in fact, in college, critiquing is a big part of the process, right? Every project that the whole group does, class gets together, we critique it. We talk about what's wrong and what can be better and yada yada.
What's in the box?
Yeah, exactly. So people found it real easy to negatively comment on things. I made it a point to point out the things that they're doing well, so that they can continue to do that in the next one. And I guess that goes back to what I was talking about, the whole sportsman-like crap. But I mean it. Like, that's important to me that people find what works, so you can continue to do what works instead of constantly dragging people down into the whole, you suck at this part, don't do that again. That doesn't help me in the future, necessarily, right? I mean, I know I'm not terribly good at shading, but what am I good at? What can I focus on next time? So.
Hey, Rob, your feet are so terrible.
It's really interesting to see, like,
pouches,
Rob, what's wrong with that chest that goes out to here?
Swallow a fridge.
Fuck.
It's interesting to see the posts that you see from some of the artists and the commission feedback of people asking for their money back because they didn't like what they got, or people just offering free opinions on their art about what they. Yeah, it's just like here's a free opinion for you, like you like this and this over here, and and it's kind of like you could have done this differently, or your shading's off, like it's kind of like, and you are,
that I don't have to rely on any commissions to keep the lights on in my house, right? I have a job, But I put my commission prices high, specifically to filter out the unwanted. Like literally, it's not that I believe that I'm necessarily even worth that much. It's that I don't want to have to deal with
Your sanity's
individuals.
worth that much.
Yeah, I mean, really. And honestly, every other artist out there, Tragic Egg, Vertical Vixen, whoever else is out there drawing, you probably should raise your prices, regardless. Like, unless, I get it if you're trying to be competitive and you're trying to keep the lights on, and it is what it is, but you should probably raise your prices because you are worth more than you think you are. Like, period. You are.
And
Well said.
the one thing that people are realizing now too is people will pay for quality. So if they believe and they want you, they will
Yep.
pay for it. They're not coming to you because necessarily you're the cheapest. They're coming to you because they like your style. So,
Yep.
take advantage
Yeah,
of it a
also-
little bit.
And really,
You know,
yeah.
the internet kind of is messing with the younger generation though too. You got a lot of 20-something-year-old people coming in that are doing commission work and stuff, and I'll be honest, they're not ready. Like you're not ready yet. You need more time to hone your craft and get to where you're truly comfortable with yourself, because you're going to look back and go, oh my God, I charged somebody money for that at some point. And give yourself 5 years.
I thought you were going to take it a different direction and saying people asking for it, or like coming in saying, hey, I'm an influencer. Can you just do this for free?
Well, that happens.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a lot of people I see that, $15 for a commission or something like that. And one, I would raise your prices, period. But two, probably work. Work on your work. I mean, really.
That reminds me, Boop was supposed to, and we didn't do it. He was supposed to tell you that the whole point of this was you had to draw a new Destiny Unfiltered logo during the interview. But obviously,
I forgot.
Yeah. We're trying to get free work, Boop.
Draw on it. It'd be very awkward.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not a graphic artist. I'm not a graphic designer.
Oh, that's never. It's a running
now
joke that we do with every artist that comes on here. It's just we want free work, and
I'm raising the price.
we're influencing.
I'm raising the prices of my gifts now.
So I heard whenever you first started talking about moving into digital, I heard you dropped the Wacom tablet.
Yeah.
And initially, like the first versions of those, it was like this hard plastic tablet. Yep. You drew here, you saw it up there, which is very disorienting for someone who used to
it takes a while to get
paper. Yeah, how that would be. Yeah, I couldn't do that.
That's what I did. I mean, through college, I eventually, my last 2 years in college, I got a new HP computer, man, which could run Doom 2, and I had a bootleg Photoshop on it with a Wacom Intuos tablet, and that took a while. It's a whole new learning thing.
A cracked copy of Windows 98.
Yeah, exactly. So you end up drawing down here, but looking up here, and your left hand is on the keyboard where you got all your shortcuts, and it gets really awkward.
Yeah.
When I was, I worked for emergency preparedness work, and about 2 or 3 years in, they realized that I could draw because I started doing mapping for the local government and stuff like that. So they went out and they bought me like a Wacom tablet thing that I could use, and because my department, like the whole government, didn't have graphic designers, anything yet. This is still early on, right? Now they have a full team of this stuff, so they do everything now. But back then it was me, so I did all the different artworks for the different departments at no charge because they were already paying me, a measly amount. But they did get me this cool little Wacom that I could see what I was drawing on.
Right.
And that was a page turn. I mean, that was a big difference for me too. And now with the iPad, man, everything is so smooth.
Now, does the iPad have? Does it have like that? A very specific fine point pin that it recognizes? That was always a thing. Like before, you have a stylus, but they always, we can't take anything smaller than your standard fat stylus or whatnot.
Yeah.
Which is difficult.
So the iPad comes with a stylus. It's got its own thing.
The current.
It feels like a pencil to me.
Right.
And I bought the edition that I got is a screen protector, that has a texture like paper. So there's no
Oh,
smooth
nice.
glide. It actually has a texture. So when you move the pen across it, it feels like you're writing on paper.
That's
That's
cool.
actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
extremely nice. It's like $3. I mean, it wasn't, you
I
just got to
take it
get
you
the right
probably
one. But
wear one of those gloves that,
Oh,
you
I wear a slide glove so that I don't sweat on the screen or whatever. And
well, so your hand's not, registering a mark as well.
no jumping.
Right.
So now, going in a different direction, I want to ask you about now. I know with all the art out there, of course, there's a lot of stolen art, right? So,
Mhm.
people retweeting their stuff or using on display. I think it was like they'll just put it on there, and so what steps do you try to take to protect your art and is there, I know it's almost seems like it's like maybe impossible, but
I don't.
but
No one's ever tried to redo my art, so I've always joked that my art is just good enough for people to like, but not good enough to steal. It's I'm in a sweet spot where no one ever runs off with my art to make T-shirts out of it or anything because it's not that great.
I know. Like, I feel like if I ran across one of something I did on someone's T-shirt, I'd be like honored at this point. Like, what? Really?
yeah, right. It's
Yeah, I have never had I've never had to deal with it. People
just like well, and I hate to divert, but just just like Ryan's goat got loose. That's why he's gone.
right. And it happens.
Never dealt with that either. So I guess trying to chase stolen art, it's like trying to chase, a runaway goat.
Brought up Brian Munkus earlier because he fights that a lot because the work that he does is incredible, right? And people like Emily Megan X, I believe, on Twitter, she's run into that situation too because I don't know, there's something about the way that the stuff that they craft. It's perfect, it's beautiful, but it also fits well in those environments. The stuff that I make, I don't think it's very good for T-shirts. I'm not a very good designer in that regard. I just create like.
What do you mean it's not good for a T-shirt? What are you talking about? Your Titan and your Hunter and your Warlock. That's like perfect for a T-shirt.
Somebody disagrees because
Moon's Haunted. That was a great one. I couldn't even get one. It was sold out by the time I got there.
You're probably talking about more of the, the clear, no shading, like the more like the graphic art, like Alaric does, like those designs and whatnot.
Yeah, I've just never had the.
Yeah.
I've never had to deal with it, man. I don't think I would worry about it, honestly. Like for instance, I'll give you for instance. I saw a gentleman years ago now, walking out of of like a Walmart or a Winn-Dixie type, shopping center, and the dude had stolen toilet paper. Okay, he walked. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. He had 2 rolls of toilet paper that he had shoved under his shirt, and I didn't stop him or call the police or get the store manager because if the poor guy is stealing toilet paper, like I'll buy you a whole set, man. Like I feel bad. It's just not something I've ever had to deal with, and I'm not sure how I would react if I had to. But in general, if the guy can make $8 off of my art, go for it.
I guess it comes down to like that situation. Like I guess the art community knows about the whole Red Canary thing, but like I guess where somebody's taking the art, perpetrating it as hers, and I guess and not necessarily saying it wasn't hers, but taking the credit of that's wonderful art. And I mean, it's like, I never explicitly said. So I mean, it's like you get. I guess you have those levels of reposting art because you'll see a lot of artists say, "Please do not retweet my art. Please do not repost my art, or please give credit." Usually as long as you give credit.
Usually it's give credit, and and that I totally, it's like share it, man. Just drop my name. Don't.
Yeah, I guess because I never have to deal with it, I'm not super possessive of it. The internet isn't as big a deal to me as real life, so
I guess it comes up in I think it becomes an even bigger deal though when when somebody gets, and I know this has happened a couple of times, but somebody gets artist of the week and it's not even their art. It was something they reposted but didn't put somebody's name on,
Yeah,
but they got the credit and they
that's kind of
Yeah.
a shame.
yeah
So
yeah that's happened a lot.
I'm sitting here looking at a lot of the stuff you post, and I see that you draw a lot of faces.
That's just this month.
Okay, so that's not normal. Because sitting here thinking, a lot of people don't want to wear their face on their T-shirt.
Yeah.
I will. I don't, because it's a meme, a mem.
So, yeah, I was just.
I'll link you.
Somebody
to my,
actually
art
stole one of my
station.
memes one time, and I was upset.
Has some of my older stuff in it. My more my Destiny stuff, but essentially, here it's in your Twitter for Unfiltered.
Okay.
But that's more of my normal stuff.
Okay, which is great podcasting, by the way. We're gonna jump over here and look at shit, and not talk. So,
Over there,
I'll post it here. I'll post it in the chat too, so they can look at it too. There.
can we see it?
Nope.
no, I'll do it because I have.
Yeah.
Because he's magic.
So, well, because I'm logged in. That's all.
And I'll be honest, I haven't updated that in a year, maybe more. September 2020 is the last time I updated my art station. It's just too much. It's too much to keep up with. I don't do a whole bunch of social media. Life is
That's why you're happy.
it's just too important to focus on all that stuff on my phone. Like, I have Twitter, and that's enough for me. I think I have an Instagram account that I haven't touched in years.
Yeah, you did. I tagged you on that too.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah, Boop will tell you all your socials if you need them.
Yeah,
I get Instagram. I was like, but that's just another thing I have to update. I don't want. I just don't.
There is actually a lot of art on Instagram.
I know there is.
Yeah, there's a lot of art.
Top one was like
Yeah.
huge on that, and I get it. It's a definitely more visual medium, but whatever. I committed to Twitter. I'm just stuck in that hellhole. It is.
It's it's probably the easiest to understand. I
It
guess.
is. It's fine. I'm an old man.
Pretty
Look at my hair. It's
straightforward.
all gray. I mean,
I love that he keeps calling himself old, and I have to keep reminding him, you are literally the youngest person here.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
by
true.
by at least 3 years, you are the youngest
Yeah,
person
you
here.
are the youngest.
okay,
So
Believe it or not, I am the oldest.
that's fair.
all right. Shit. We probably ought to move on to, I don't know, something.
Well, we stuck Destiny, right?
Yeah,
So
there's
yeah,
gonna be
so
there's gonna be a TWAB tomorrow, and Destiny happened, but we've all been playing Halo except Josh because he don't like us.
What? Halo?
Yeah.
I love Halo. I ain't gonna
I've been
lie. I
playing,
mean,
uh,
I love it. This iteration feels like old school.
I'm gonna do a shout out to Joe Madureira. I've been playing Airship Syndicate's newest game, their Ruined King.
I
Oh,
don't
is
know.
that good?
Yeah, fun. Well, so I played Battle Chasers, Night War, that game that that the first game that Airship Syndicate put out.
Are those PC games?
No, PS or console.
Oh,
So
I mean, they're
is it on Game Pass? 'Cause I won't.
Battle Chasers is on. It's on all consoles.
Is it on Game Pass? Because that's the way I
so.
roll.
That's where I thought I played it on. I didn't buy it. I played it on Game Pass.
And of course, I played all of the.
Josh wouldn't know he's a PS5 guy. He's not an Xbox guy at all.
I played all of the Darksiders games.
Well, all right. So we did talk about Destiny. What do you feel? How do you feel about the current state of Destiny, and what are you excited about?
He doesn't know. He just told you he packed up his house. He hasn't been playing.
Well, I mean, it doesn't mean he hasn't played. Like, well, I don't know. When's the last time you
Played
played?
it's season of the.
You played with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you played with us.
It's season of the I don't know.
So I played
Festival of the Lost.
before
Yeah.
the storm hit, before Hurricane Ida hit.
Yeah.
And then I went to work for a solid month. And after that, I think I played about a week or two, and then I had to pack up stuff. So my basic takeaway right now is I need I'm a weapon pursuer and armor pursuer.
Mm.
The story's fine. I actually love what they're doing with the narrative in the game right now. I think it's fantastic. I really like the aesthetics of the realms that you go in this, the Shattered Realm. I think it's really cool. I love hunting the secrets down and stuff. I think that's really neat as well. I love the gradual unlock of how you can move through that space by unlocking things and stuff like that. I do not like chasing numbers, and this has been a constant gripe of mine for years. I hate having to grind up for a new number on my armor piece. It's just not my style of thing. I like to reference Metroid, the old school stuff, where as you play the game, you unlock a new way to play the game. That's the kind of game development that I enjoy. In Metroid, you unlock the rockets. Now you can go to new places because there's new doors you can open up. You unlock the ice beam. Now you can jump on creatures and get higher, and so forth and so on. So my passion for things like Destiny is new guns and new mods and stuff that allow me to enjoy the gameplay in a different manner than I did a month ago. And
So in a similar way, like how they did with the whole stasis, where as you unlocked aspects, it was
Yep.
something new you could do. Oh, and
Yes.
next week we're gonna get a new aspect, or we're gonna get a couple
I did
of new
enjoy that.
skills. Yeah, and that's pretty cool. So like they could have done when you go into the Shattered Realm this week, with the new ability you've acquired to, shoot open these doors, or these, blast away these rocks,
Right.
find these artifacts, take these artifacts back, unlock something new. Now, you can have this skill. Yeah.
Well, they kind of did that a little bit, like with
They
the
did a little bit.
with the each week you had the ability to unlock the
Yes.
where you could
But usually it was for-
insight, the true sight, and then the
Yeah, and that's
You
what I'm
know,
saying. I enjoy that
yeah.
aspect of it. What I don't like is when the difficulty of a specific area is gated by numbers instead of gameplay. I think the challenge associated with things should be more about my physical ability to play and either outwit or outgun the enemy, as opposed to a damage check. He shoots me once and I'm dead. That's
Like-
silly to me.
like Grandmaster. I don't
Yeah.
know about anybody else, but I'm really sick and
I
tired
don't
of
even pursue that
champions.
stuff. I don't like beating my head against the wall. I'm here to play a power fantasy, and that's fine. But that being said, I don't mind, for instance, the exotics being in the lost sectors. I think that they found themselves a nice little challenge niche there, where you go and play that a few times and figure out how to do it.
Just
Something
I
about
like
that. But
I like the fact that you have the two different versions. You have the legend and then the master,
Right.
and then and one of them is it's a much lower drop rate, but
it's doable.
You grind it, you can do it. The other
Right.
one, much higher drop rate, but it's difficult. Even if you're powered up, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Unless you're
But,
skilled.
what I appreciated about them is there's enough. Most of the time, there's enough tools in your arsenal now that you can figure out a way around them. For instance, there was a void burn one, and if you used Le Monarch
Mm-hmm.
and you hit it was the what's the ones overload
Captain.
Yeah.
Overload.
yeah, overloads. So Le Monarch would stay on them, right? And they couldn't.
It keeps
And
unlocked.
it was fantastic because they gave you a tool that you could use to defeat it. If you didn't have that tool, it'd be a lot harder, right? That's the kind of gameplay that I'm talking about. I wish they would lean more into that. The power fantasy in the game. Give me weapons that change the way that you can play it, as opposed to just an auto rifle shoots straight. Now I could reload a little bit faster. Give me something that changes the way the game is played.
But now I think back, in certain ways, back when that power fantasy had a bit of magic back in D1 though, when you were leveling up and then you were going to, like, let's just say you're going to the Cosmodrome, and there was I guess there was at the time where they would drop Like there would be certain areas where like some of the higher light ogres would spawn, and as part of whatever seasonal content that was. But it would have the question marks over the head because you weren't strong enough to kill it yet.
Correct.
But then you would play through the game, and then you're like, "Dang, I'm now at that level. I can go kill that ogre whenever it spawns." There was a certain magic to that. Or if you were to, find something in a cave. So I love that part of it. But
to a degree, I agree with that. But on the flip side, I would argue that my gun's bullets shouldn't have gotten more powerful. They should just be bullets. What I would prefer is now I've gotten the right tools by playing the game to go back and combat that threat in a more effective and efficient manner. That's the way my brain works.
And also,
Like you give
well,
me a
kind of the
threat.
Shattered Realm was that way too, though. This time when you had to get the Aegir Scepter, that was the only way to be able to shatter that rock,
right,
the
but
glittery rock. Yeah.
So I'm level, XYZ. I've maxed out. I've, overloaded my my light from the artifact. I'm now 30 levels over where I should be because I've added that much power to it. But still, that dreg has scaled with me.
Yes.
No, I disagree.
Well, that's my point. We shouldn't be doing either.
Randall the Vandal.
A dreg should be a dreg. An ogre should be an ogre. Our number should be nothing. Our ability to address the environment via the weapons, equipment that we've obtained should enhance the way we play the game. That's just my personal take on game design,
And that goes back to must have Galahorn.
Well, that leads into the question I was about to. Since you are the weapon chaser, you are the armor chaser. How do you feel when they reissue guns and armor and stuff like that? Does that get you like? Are you looking forward to Galahorn coming back or?
Not necessarily. No. So here's if they give us 2 new and 1 old, that's fine.
Okay.
As long as they're not fully relying on the old to be what moves us forward. That's kind of where it bugs me, is that they're constantly reusing old stuff. I'd much prefer, like Iron Banner, I haven't played in months and months because it was like the old armor. And just my personal aesthetic, I didn't really like this new set, so I didn't really pursue it. I had no reason to. The weapons
glows
didn't
now.
really. What's that?
It glows now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it still has the
Yeah.
weird ass spells that looks like,
Yeah, just.
It looks,
Since you have a series, you have a Series X, it glows.
Yeah.
Yay.
And then, but like the Iron Will armor, I played a lot of Iron Banner to get the Iron Will armor because I thought it looked really good. It was, to me, it was worth pursuing. Weapons, though, to me is where the game shines, right? Everybody can agree on that. The gunplay is what they do so well. So there's some guns that you just want to get because it feels right, and you want to get the right roll on it and stuff like that. And that kind of stuff I get the pursuit of.
yeah, it's like, you take a 180 hand cannon, and you get one of those that's based off of Amalon. You get one that's based off of Tex Mechanica, or the different fields. Right. And some of those guys will like the Jack King Queen. They'll love that gun. Hate it. Feels like I'm shooting rubber bullets.
Yep.
But you give me a trust, and I love that thing. The way it sounds, the way it feels, the way it snaps.
Yeah. See, I was always the heavy AR guy, the aggressive frame auto rifle. I love the half-dan D. That was my favorite gun, and it's all sunset and gone now or whatever. But like the new, what was it? One of the newer.
Legal Action is like the Halfan D.
What's that?
The new Legal Action is like the Halfan D.
Well, to me,
that drops. Yeah.
Sound and stuff makes such a huge difference, man. Because like the half-dan D felt like I was shooting an actual assault rifle as opposed to some of these pew 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 guns, and I'm just like, I don't like that.
That one that sounds like you're shooting water bullets.
Yeah, it's
Servant Leader sounds like that. That new Gambit sounds like you're shooting a stapler.
Yeah. And some people love that, because their idea of their guardian is more of the really science fiction-y guy. My idea of a guardian is more of the post-apocalyptic survivor guy. And that's I like that aspect of Destiny, though, that they give you you can go across the board as far as the genres of people that you want to play as. Neat.
That's fair.
I still think Iron Lord had one of the best gun sounds, or not the Thunder Lord had one of the best sounds.
Cracking.
Yeah.
Sound? Yeah. That chikank, chikank.
Yep.
One of the guns that took me the longest time to love. Felt great, shot great, sounded horrible because it sounded like the damn gun needed oil. Was Nameless Midnight. It has such a dry fire sound. It's like, man, that gun needs oil.
Yep. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. And same thing with I love Le Monarch. I'll use it religiously all the time, but it sounds like you're dry firing a bow.
Yeah.
Whenever you fire it, still does, you know. But it's so powerful, you can kind of look past that.
Yeah,
I hate the sound of the Witherhorde. I hate the sound of that one.
Yeah.
You know how you combat all this?
I
You
have
play-
to bring that up once a show.
Play with no sound. That's how you combat it.
And
So
Yeah, that's fun.
All right,
That's
we-
great advice.
we've had this man for an hour and a half talking.
We have.
Yeah, so let's start winding him down so that he can go back to his family and their events for the night. so to kind of close out our show, we ask the basic same 5 questions to everybody. You must answer. Boop knows where you live. We will send him, and we will give him a ladder so he can come over and get you. So, Boop, you want to fire it off?
It's still.
We'll get him a chair that he can stand on.
So you can see me on the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your favorite food?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Fair.
It's special way. Mama used to do it. Grandma.
Yeah.
Buy them out of the box. Don't care.
Toll
I
House
would like the
or-
Nestle Toll House stuff or Pillsbury.
Cris-
Just
Crispy or
milk chocolate
crispy
chip
or soft?
the way I cook them is
Variable.
perfectly crispy outside with a gooey interior.
I like it. Like the ones that you on the TV, the Toll House, you
Yep.
pull them apart and they got the
Chocolate sweet.
All right. So this
Traditional. So I guess semi-sweet.
Yeah.
this next question you started to kind of tap danced around, but what is your favorite drink, alcoholic and non-alcoholic?
So I don't drink alcohol at all.
Mm-hmm.
Never have. Family has a history of alcoholism. Never started. Never wanted to. So I can't answer that part.
Good on you.
Non-alcoholic, just traditional water or just a Coke.
Yeah, you tap danced all over this when you told us about Coke and
Coke-
not
Coke
drinking early.
Zero?
I'm pretty boring. I'll be honest. No, just regular
Oh,
Coke.
cool.
Oh,
And McDonald's Coke is the best Coke on the planet, by the way. You know they scientifically do that, right? How they do their machines.
Sonic's Coke, man.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Gotta have the burn. So,
It burns?
yeah, if they bricks it right.
Sonic? Sonic?
He's working Coca-Cola, man. There's a difference. If you drink, if they hook a bag in the box up to a Pepsi fountain and a Coke fountain, you'll notice a difference. The one that hooked up to Pepsi will taste like syrup. It won't have the same burn as a Coke. It's because they put a different mix of carbonation to water in theirs as opposed to how Coke does. That's why Coke
That's
burns.
why McDonald's is supposedly the best in the planet, and I agree.
The more you know.
I mean,
Yes.
all right. Josh, you got the next question?
If you could have anyone voice your ghost to the point where you would pay Eververse for this voice, who would it be? And you know,
That's a
you could choose
good one.
Living or dead?
Yeah, you can choose living or dead. But
You said living or dead. My immediate thought goes to Jesus. How funny that would be. Where he was just like, no, don't shoot them.
I really didn't walk on water. I was just running really fast and it was a puddle.
Yeah. Oh god. So I'm trying to stay away from the classic answers like Morgan Freeman and stuff. Gilbert Gottfried, I think, would be absolutely hilarious.
He
yeah,
comes with a lot.
we've had that
He
one
does.
with the Bobcat
yeah.
both way, you know.
Yeah, Bobcat. That would be a good one. Oh, you know, no, I changed my answer. Oh god, I can't think of his name though. He was a comedian and he passed away and he did a whole bunch of dry comedy.
Sam
I
Kinison.
always worked.
George Carlin?
Sorry.
I'd say Sam Kinison, but You know.
No, he always wore like blue shades, had long kind of hair, kind of looked like Kurt Cobain. Oh God! What was
Oh
his-
my God, yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
I
he.
can like hear every one of his jokes.
Yep.
You know, an escalator is never really out of service. It just
Stephen
becomes
Wright.
stairs.
Stephen Wright.
No, it's not Stephen Wright.
Nope.
No.
No?
No, this guy. Yeah, this guy was big for a minute. He did like Star Search and stuff to give you an idea.
Was it Jay Jacobson?
No. As soon as the name, because
Jake-
he's looking it up right now, and as soon as he says
Yeah.
it, I'm gonna
Mitch
go.
Hedberg.
Yep, there you go.
Mitch Hedberg.
So
Yeah.
I would absolutely have Mitch Hedberg as my ghost, constantly just dryly commenting on everything that's happening. That would be fantastic.
I think the funniest thing I'd ever seen was this. It was on Last Comic Standing. They're doing their open auditions. This one guy walks out, gets on stage, gets up to the microphone. He goes, my friends. The doctors say he's unstable, like, and whatnot, and they say, it's because he had a bad childhood and whatnot. And I think it's because he's only got one leg. They start laughing. He walks off the stage, and they're like, "Where are you going?" And it blew him away because he told his joke and he left. Yeah.
That's funny.
Bring up Star Search. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So, all right, what's your first gaming memory?
My first one's gonna be generic. It'll be like playing Mario or something like that. My best gaming memory is when I walked out of my room when I was like 9 years old and found my father playing Top Gun on my Nintendo, and he was farther than I had ever been in Top Gun, and I remember being like, "Oh my gosh!" And he's like, "I just can't land on this stupid aircraft carrier." He was so mad.
Oh, the in-flight refueling on that was so difficult.
Oh yeah. So I remember being like in awe of my father's ability to play video games, though.
Right. It's the only way we can become heroes anymore.
Yeah.
All right, Boop,
My
you got
dad can solo that.
Boop. You want to hit him with the last one?
No, you do it. Didn't you change it up?
No, the last one, the very last one, has never changed.
Is this a most embarrassing moment?
No.
I brain
What-
fart on this one.
What is your favorite curse word?
Yeah, what's your favorite curse word? I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the F word. I mean,
What's
Wow.
the F word?
He won't even say it.
my grandma's watching.
Fart?
No, I
Fart?
say fuck way too much, and
There's no such thing.
That's.
I'm
it's
trying to be polite because my kids are like right over there.
but he just says I say it way too much, but I'm sure that means
Yeah.
my kids hear it a lot, but he won't say it now.
He's like, sugar.
Nah, I say it to myself like way too much. I do.
Okay.
I try and be a good representative of humanity for my kids and stuff, but never so often.
So
Oh man, I go into Crucible and they're just like, hey, look, we're gonna leave
That's
this for a little while, okay? We can't.
So, there basically Josh has two sides. There is his normal personality. Most of the time, 90%, this is what you get. Very nice, very calm, very well mannered. And then there's Crucible Josh. And Crucible Josh is a
Yeah.
dickhead
Yeah.
that you really don't want to know.
Yeah.
So he will make sailors go, "What the fuck?" So.
Crucible
Alright.
Josh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's-
Crucible Josh, if you kill me with a weapon, insert weapon name here, you're scum.
Yeah.
You're garbage.
You're a hacker.
I could name that weapon.
Oh, so cheap using that weapon. I can't believe you used half Dandy.
So.
Garbage.
Yeah.
All right. So, what aside from what you got going on here for the next 7 days in November, what do you got on the the horizon? What do you got coming up? Anything to announce? Special, fun?
No, honestly, no. I don't know. I'm gonna draw these guys, and I'll continue this this project until it's done. So it's not just in November. I got 100 to do. I've done 50. I want to say approximately, maybe 46 or something, 48.
Okay.
So I'll probably be doing it through December at least, because I mean I'm off this week for Thanksgiving. I took some vacation. I'm not going to be drawing during the day. I'll be hanging out with my family and stuff. So I'll probably get back on the drawing train next week or something like that.
When report cards come out.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll see what the anniversary pack comes out with.
I mean,
And,
the Gallahorn pack that they're labeling as an anniversary
Yeah,
pack.
but the thorn armor ornaments look pretty
so
sweet.
I'll probably draw
Have they shown that?
some of those guys, some of those sets, because they look really good.
A random miniature boop has entered the field.
Yeah.
Little boop. Little boop.
Got them beat.
It's the boo cannon, not the boop cannon.
Yeah.
It's the boot pistol.
Oh, he found. Because he found our an old original iPad that doesn't even work anymore.
Nice.
Eat off it. But no, I don't have any progress or anything going on.
So just kind of hanging out, playing a little Destiny, kill some time, and
Yeah,
enjoy.
just through the holidays, you know.
There.
See what they bring us. I'm looking forward to the Witch Queen. I really am. I'll probably hop back in Destiny with more of a a fervor when that comes out. I'll probably get the anniversary pack and play that a little bit, but I'm really more of a solo player most of the time. So dungeon, as cool as it sounds, I don't do very much of that. You know, I don't. Pretty much a solo guy. So the Witch Queen, new story, all that stuff. I look forward to it.
That's fair. All right, so
That's awesome.
I think we got to every question that came up in the chat. So
Good.
Yep. We
So,
sure did. And,
aside from that, we have one announcement, which is going forward, Molly is not going to be joining us anymore. We wish her luck and good health and all those things, but life got complicated. So we do plan on having her as a guest at some time and come back and tell us whenever she gets life straightened out. So
and we maybe
so so good luck to you, kiddo. And then aside from that, I don't think we got. Do we have a guest next week?
yes, Procyon.
Okay, that's our last show of the year.
Yeah.
So
Y'all taking December off?
As
As far as I know.
Hit and miss. I mean,
Unless
if
that
we
was
get,
me.
we've got some feelers out there. So if
That time of the year, man.
people get back with us,
well, it's one of those things that if you look at the way the calendar lines up, and some of the guests that we've got them cooking, but they just can't commit, and it's like, you know what, we've been going at this pretty hard for the last 6 months, so give everybody a little bit of a break. And then of course we lost one of our co-hosts, so it's like, you know what, now might be the perfect time to regroup and then hit it after the first of the year. So
Just got here.
well, just because you're not tired.
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
So, but if someone
Farian will run this show. Wow.
No.
Yeah.
fair, I think didn't you say you're in the middle of moving?
Yeah. He's recreating.
Aren't you in the middle of moving? Is that what you said you were doing?
No, so we're adding on to the back of my garage so that I have a nice place for my boys and I to have gaming and my home office and stuff like that.
Man cave,
Nice.
got it.
Yep.
he said something about a hurricane or an active volcano. I don't remember which. At the start.
Well, we had a big hurricane, so my
Active
my
volcano,
covered
that was
tarp
it.
right now.
So, all right.
Well, thanks for being with us. Where we gonna find you?
Yeah,
Where's
we're
everybody gonna find you?
Twitter. That's it.
Just go to Twitter.
Twitter.
Station.
Apparently, he can receive DMs, but from everybody but us. So
Not you.
yeah, he's got us blocked. He just won't admit it to it. He's like, I was really trying to get out of doing the show tonight, but fuckers found me on Xbox.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, glad you could make it, man. I'm really excited.
Me too, man.
Had a lot of good times. Had a lot of good laughs.
Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it, guys.
If down the
Yeah.
road you ever do dabble your toe into something that you think is really neat and want to come and talk about it, hit us up, let us know, and we'll get you on. So, you can announce it to all of our ones of followers that watch every week.
Yeah.
Our
Same thing
tens
goes
of
to,
our
y'all
tens
ever
of
run into a
tens.
situation where you're in a lurch and don't have anybody, I'm around typically.
Yeah, we'll bump that week we're gonna have with Lenny James.
Except for Tuesday night at 9:00 Eastern, I'm free.
It's just tough,
Yeah.
Tuesdays.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right. I think on that note, we're gonna go ahead and stop this and get the hell out of here. Nobody's on that I give a shit about, so we're not gonna rate anybody tonight. So, G4 TV is the only thing on my even recommended list. So,
And this is what's happening.
Hey,
Oh yeah, now he
Disney
took it off.
Filtered,
Okay.
just the Unfiltered stream. So.
yeah, I don't give a
Yeah.
shit about them. So, but
He had a
Yeah.
lampshade on his head.
so, on that note, enjoy Halo this week because
Tired dog is tired.
Yeah, he's a tired pup.
Poofy dog.
Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and call it there, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
everyone coming out.